Joining me today is an undefeated fighter out of Washington State who returned to the CFFC cage February 9th at CFFC 129 when he faces the upstate karate trained Jacob Romano. He is the Spider Karate Kid. He is Bilal Hasan. How's it going today, Bilal?
Good, sir. It's amazing. It's been a great day so far.
Awesome. So let's start from the beginning. You got into your MMA AMI career started back in 2021. We're just at 2024 now. Mind giving a quick rundown of what got you into the sport itself and got you to where you are now?
Yeah, man. I've been doing Taekwondo ever since I was 5. That was kind of like my first foot in the door there, competing through doing that. I did that till I was about 17, kind of competing for the U.S. national team, traveling all over the world, competing there. So that was my first foot in the door, just competing, man. And I grew to love the sport of martial arts. And then I started watching probably around like 2017, man. Like I wasn't like a huge UFC fan at first, but like kind of around 2017 when kind of Conor McGregor and all these guys started coming in, that's when I really started to have my eyes on the UFC, man. And so, yeah, that was kind of it. And then ever since then, right when I started watching the UFC, me and all the boys, man, in high school, we would just come to my garage. I set up like a bunch of Taekwondo mats, those old school mats. It's probably like zero point 0.5 of an inch there. It's like basically nothing. We would just fight in my garage every single day. I would set up a whole training schedule, and we would just go at it in the garage, man. And so after that, I went around a couple MMA gyms. Couldn't really find a good one until I came into Charlie's Combat Club at around, I'd say, 2020, like the beginning of COVID. And then ever since then, man, I've just been in the gym every single day, grinded. It's my man right there. that's my hype man. Shout out to my guy. He's my strength and conditioning coach, Anabolic Asian. So he's just back there hyping me up. But yeah, ever since then, man, it's just been the same old, just training, and got my eyes set on the UFC Gold, and so
Let's go.
yeah, man, that's it.
Let's go.
Awesome. So you were with Charlie even in your AMI career then, basically.
Yes, sir. Yes, yeah.
And you did that correctly too. You did, as an AMI, some of these guys like they pause their career. They don't take the fights. You fought 6 times in your first year, like to the day almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were ultimately going to make your CFFC debut as an AMI against Jerry Leshy,
Mm-hmm.
but you ended up fighting him as a pro. Looking at the pro fight though, like it went to a split decision. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I was front row, so I saw like from the same angle as the judges.
Hell yeah.
I mean, even your opponent walked out of the cage, and he's probably gonna get pissed off if he sees this, saying like, "I'm not having a good fucking night." Like he knew it was not even close.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts looking back on your pro debut?
Kind of, I'm on the same page as you, man. Like I think it was kind of in hindsight, it's like that's what I needed, because like honestly, Jerry is the type of style that's supposed to beat me, right? I'm a striker. He's like really good wrestler. That's the style to beat me. And I went out there, and not only did I beat him, I went 15 minutes of winning the whole fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had a couple takedowns, but he couldn't pass my guard. I got up every time. I dropped him in the second. I basically cut open his whole head. I mean, you guys have seen probably a couple of the pictures, man. All that blood on me was all his. So yeah, man, it wasn't my ideal first pro fight, but looking back at it in hindsight, that's exactly what I needed, man. My confidence is through the roof now with like I said, that's the style to beat me. And so, yeah, that's kind of it, man. I think moving on forward now, I wouldn't say it's going to be easier, but it's like my confidence is way higher from that fight.
Awesome. And after that fight, you returned back to Washington State. You had, I think, like one more fight left with Koga, Combat Games. First one falls through. You get to go back again to do it.
Yeah.
Knock out that final one. 36 seconds in, no contest.
Bro, it was 7 seconds, dude.
I've heard comments about what happened. Like, what happened, and was it really as bullshit as I've heard?
To a certain degree, nah. It was kind of it was my fault. I'll take it like that, man. I basically went out there and I threw a low kick from southpaw, and it's an open stance. So I was aiming for that inside leg, and then I hit him right in the cup. But the thing is like I don't think he was wearing a cup, because it felt like I hit him in the thigh. But they played the replay, and it was a low blow, and he went down. And then I threw a couple strikes. Because like I said, I thought I hit him in the thigh, and then he wouldn't get up, and then that was it. That was the end of the story there. So, yeah, man, that was an experience for sure.
And so you finally wrap up with Koga. You're free to go play elsewhere. And you return to Ben Salem, PA. Sorry, like Ben Salem's not the greatest, but you go
No
there
worries.
and you actually end up fighting Orlando Ortega. And highlight reel probably is the best way to say it. I think you're throwing spinach shit from like the start of the fight. And you ended it pretty early too. What were your
Yeah.
reaction to that fight as well?
Yeah, man. Like you said, that spinning kick actually, what's it called? Yeah, I only actually threw one spinning. Yeah, that was the only spinning shot I threw. It was when he actually he threw a teep kick and he hit me right in the dick, and then I caught his foot, and then I stepped in and I spun and threw that kick. Man, I thought it was gonna be the knockout shot right there, but I think to me that's the perfect fight, and that's the same kind of energy I want to bring to this fight as well. I want to go in there first 3 to 4 minutes. I want to pick them apart, kind of analyze, and then the last minute just look to finish. Man, I think that's as perfect as a fight as I would prefer. So yeah, man, I think that was everything that I worked for, all in a nutshell. So yeah, I just look to replicate that again here, man.
Yeah, I mean, as you said it perfectly. I mean, you left that fight unscathed. I think we got drinks at the one bar inside the venue like right after, and
Yep.
you looked like you just arrived. I know like Chris went through a war on both sides, him and his
Yeah.
opponent, and he
Yeah.
was a little he looked better when he actually arrived. But now were there plans to actually return earlier, like December, since you left that unscathed?
Yeah, bro. I literally right when I got out of the ring, man, the first thing I told my coach is like, "All right, so when's the next one?" Like I was so ready. I felt like I just warmed up, man. So I went right when I got. I remember I took a couple deep breaths and I told my coach, "Yep, when's the next one?" And then so we were actually looking right away for November 3rd. I think there was a card then. I actually signed a bout for November 3rd. I forgot against who, but he pulled out due to an injury. And then after that, we were looking for December as well. Couldn't really find anyone, and that was again. It was on the in that Atlantic City card, so that would have been cool as well to return to where I had my pro debut. But that didn't go as planned. And then January, I believe CFFC didn't have anything. So now we're here in February, and I'm just bricked up, man. I'm ready for this. I'm so hungry. I've been waiting since November. Like we said, right? I came out of that fight unscathed, and I'm ready right now, man. And so I'm just so excited, man, and just excited to be here and talk to you about it.
That's a dog right there.
Yeah, because
Yes, sir.
I know even this one took a bit of effort to find you an opponent too.
Mm-hmm.
I follow everyone that's from the promotion, so like I saw them kind of reach out. I named a few people, and it kind of just speaks of how hard it is to match make you.
Mm-hmm.
On the names I passed over, apparently they all retired, so it would have been great because you would have been like a Jerry Leshy with a little more experience.
Ooh, okay.
And that it made sense across the board. But that guy is taking a hiatus right now. But
Gotcha.
now you do face Jacob Romano, coming out of Upstate Karate, so Wonder Boy's gym.
Hell yeah.
They're not riding the best wave right now. Wonder Boy just took a loss. Weston Wilson just took a loss. And then but you're not getting in the cage with him. You're getting in the cage with Jacob Romano.
100%.
Has there been anything that you've seen from him that like stood out, or anything about this fight that interests you besides just getting another fight in?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Like I'm trying to take every fight seriously. I mean, in hindsight, I'm looking at it like, man, we're professional fighters. He's gonna come in here with the best version of himself, and I'm gonna go in and come in with the best version of myself. But I mean, looking at this fight, and yeah, I've watched some footage of him, and nothing really stands out to me. I think I love his style. You know what I mean? He's got a karate background. I've got a taekwondo background, so I think it's gonna be really, really. It's gonna be a cool fight. It'll be like taekwondo versus karate, kind of be like old school UFC, right? But man, I think I can beat him anywhere. To be honest with you, I think long range striking, I beat him and I piece him up there. He's gonna look to close the distance. I piece him up there. If he wants to wrestle, I'll beat him there. If he wants to do jiu-jitsu, I'll beat him there. So I'm super confident coming into this match, and I'm just excited to put on a show, man. I'm looking to do, like I said, I'm looking to replicate what I did my last fight. So I'm trying to get another first round finish. And so, yeah, man, that's it.
I was about to ask, how do you see this one going? But first round finish.
Yes, sir.
And it's actually probably gonna be even better venue wise at least.
Mhm.
2300 is a little more. It's all age is one thing, so it's a little more
Perfect.
crowded. I
Hell
know like the
yeah.
card you guys were on was a little emptier than
Yeah,
normal.
that felt really weird. I remember walking out to that one and then just like I was like I'm walking out to Billie Jean. I'm like, hell yeah, the crowd's gonna
Yeah.
go crazy for this one. I get out there and like I see like two people in the front row. I'm like, oh, this is a little weird. But then I was like, man, this is. It feels like I was at the gym for that one. So I was like, it didn't affect me too much. But I can't wait. I want a big crowd. I want a big crowd, and I want to go out there and perform, man. So excited.
And I kind of mentioned, he trains with Wonder Boy and all
Mhm.
that. I mean, you
Mhm.
train with killers as well.
Yeah, 100.
Um,
percent
Chris Vassell, Miranda Granger. Occasionally Mighty Mouse shows his face as well.
Yeah.
Who have you been training with for this one?
For this one, mostly Chris Vassell, man. That guy is an absolute. That's my brother, man. That is my soldier right there. He's put me through the ringer for this one, and man, if I can go with him, I can go with anyone, man. That man's got a dump truck for days, and he puts the pressure on me, man. And so, yeah, man. Shout out to him. He's been my main training partner for this one. I think he'll actually either hopefully be in my corner or he'll fly out with me for this one, and so that's been my main training partner for this one. And yeah, of course, Miranda will pop in, and then like you said, Mighty Mouse, not as much for this one. He's been taking a break and focusing more on jiu-jitsu and actually his YouTube channel. And so, yeah, but I still have that in the back of my pocket there, just remembering all the rounds I did with him, man. And all three of those guys, Miranda, Vassal, Mighty Mouse, all those guys humble me in the gym, man. And so, yeah, they've definitely given me so much confidence just walking into the cage for sure.
And then, good transition there. You mentioned like Mighty Mouse, obviously killing it on his YouTube. I think he has a kick now too.
Oh
He's
yeah.
like everywhere. You just launched your YouTube channel a couple
Yes,
months ago.
sir.
Was that organic, or did Demetrius kind of like tip you off, or your management?
Uh, it was a little bit of both. I think it was more of just like I really want to now that I'm a professional and we're seeing like the trend of MMA and the UFC just kind of being to where it's like you need to find a way to promote and market yourself, right? And so to a certain degree, yeah, that was part of it. And then also seeing DJ do his own thing. But man, I just have so much fun just like creating my own kind of videos and my own things. Like even martial arts, a form of like creativity in my part. And so this is just another avenue for that. And I'm just kind of having fun with it. I'm just throwing things out there and just letting it rip, but nothing in particular, man. I mean, hopefully one day, like my fighting, everything grows and my content, my YouTube grows with it and my personality. And then just being able to market myself to different avenues. And so that's kind of it, man. I still haven't figured out what exactly I want to do with it, but right now I'm just kind of posting whatever I want on there and just fucking around with it. And so that's
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, it's working. Put it that way, because again,
perfect.
you went from basically being like a little highlight on like the Fight Pass Twitter page
Mm-hmm.
to now at least being able to pull from that and grow. And as
Mm-hmm.
you grow within a promotion, I mean, I think I can say this because it's been announced at least the champion in your division fights in March.
Oh shoot, I did not know that.
So, I mean, you're not that far off. I mean, the division's pretty thin with the promotion, so you
Yes,
figure
sir.
if he wins it and defends it, he's probably getting signed. That's a
Mm-hmm.
vacant title.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, the other ones that are around it are the person who's going to be facing him.
Gotcha.
People can do the math if they want to probably figure out who that is.
Yeah.
Other ones have been announced. So it's Candyman, which was shouted out to you after your last fight. He
Yeah.
returns in March as
Hell
well.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And so outside of that, then you have to go elsewhere to find flyweights. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're ideally one or two fights away from getting the title shot, depending on if it's vacant or not.
Uh-huh.
And you also touched like obviously your goal is UFC.
Mm-hmm.
With Charlie though, are you UFC or bust, or is one an interest as well?
Man, I've actually thought about this a lot pretty recently, and then I've had a couple talks with a couple of my, I'll just say it right here, kind of Miranda, and man, if you kind of look at the UFC in terms of like ethnicity and races, you don't see a lot of Asian Americans in the UFC. And I think that's a whole nother avenue to be explored and for me to find my niche in, right? Because there are a couple like solid Asian fighters in the UFC, right? But you'll see, I mean, no diss to one, especially Coach Charlie being a huge part of it. It's like one is just filled with Asian people, right? Like, and that's just, I'm just putting it out there, man. I think it's a fact there, but I think I really want to explore this avenue and kind of be the voice for the Asian Americans in the UFC. And I kind of want to be one of the first of the people in there, man. And I want to bring my personality, my fighting style, and just everything into the UFC, man. Because I mean, you look at it in terms of like everything else. You look at football, everyone knows the NFL. You think MMA, everyone knows the UFC. The UFC is like where it's at in terms of, the States. But that's where I'm trying to find an avenue in and kind of merge everything into. It's like I want to bring kind of the Asian American kind of idea into the UFC. So yeah, man, the UFC is for me. And so sorry, Coach Charlie. I think he knows that. He'll kind of sprinkle in like, hey, what about one this? And I'll kind of shut him down now here and there. And so, but yeah, right now UFC. We'll see later on if one's an option as well. But my head is pretty straight on into bringing the Asian Americans into the UFC and become UFC champion, man. So yeah.
And it makes sense because if you look at one, you could probably call them a Muay Thai company at this point.
100%. I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, I think they just had a card last week, and it was every other fight was MMA, and all the posts online were the Muay Thai.
Yeah,
the MMA is a little, it's a little, I don't want to say weaker, but there's a reason why they tried signing Americans, because name value.
Yeah, 100%.
And I wouldn't even mention the other MMA promotion in the US because they don't have your division. So not even worth. But outside of that, outside when you're not training and fighting, I know you're getting a shitload of like smoothies, you're traveling. What are things you're getting into when you're not in the cage?
Man, the thing is, like, everything that I do surrounds fighting, man. Like, everything is related to it somehow. Mostly other than that, like you said, getting smoothies. I got to refuel for the next training session. Even when I'm traveling, it's mostly to see my girlfriend. We're long distance right now. Shout out to her. We've been together for 6 years. She's my rock, man. She's actually, long story short, we did Taekwondo together. Like I said, we were in the U.S. national team, and I met her through doing that. And so we were long distance as friends, competing internationally, and we would just see each other every competition. And so she knows what it's like to deal with someone that's in this competition realm. And so, yeah, when I'm going on vacation, man, I'm still still training when I'm seeing her. I love being with the boys, and even all the boys here, man, they're all martial artists themselves. Like, I'll even shout out this man right here, my hype man over here. Get over here, Mr. Anabolic Asian. I'll always shout this guy out. This guy is my strength and conditioning coach. He also practices jiu-jitsu as well, and I'm always with him. I'm always with the boys. I'm always hanging around the people that are basically martial artists, man. I love everything about this sport, and so that's basically it, man. My whole life is just training, refueling for training, being with my buddies outside, talking about training, and so yeah, man. I love this sport so much, man. I'm blessed for sure.
The kind of show that I watched the YouTube channel as well. His gym open up yet?
His gym? Oh, shout it out, bro.
Very soon. March 16th. Yes, sir. Federal weight.
March 16th.
Yes, sir. And also, yeah, what he's wearing right now, come over here. I'm actually partnering up with a local brand called Applied Pressure. And so they're releasing a bunch of jerseys here. This is a prototype. So this is their logo, Applied Pressure. We got the C3 logo, Charlie's Combat Club. We got the Lotus from, if you know the Karate Kid, the bandana. Mm-hmm. So they got the Lotus there. And if you look around, we're going to ingrain, this is why it's a prototype right now. We got the spider, and then we're going to ingrain the Lotus logo right here. And then we got the Charlie's Combat Club on the bottom. So it'll be a lot like a soccer jersey type of deal, because their brand, they deal with a lot of like soccer teams, but also streetwear as well. And so that's a whole, we were talking about avenues, right, to market ourselves in. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Like, I really love fashion in itself. I love just like dressing up, and it's another way to express myself, right? And so, yeah, New Jersey's coming out with Applied Pressure, baby.
Awesome. And then depending on when that goes live, if it's live anywhere close to the fight, let me know. I'll drop it down below.
Yes, sir. We'll do, bro. We'll do.
But outside of that, I'll pass the mic to you. Sponsors, gym members, trainers, anyone you want to give a shout out to. The mic's all yours. Go ahead.
All right. Let me sponsors. In terms of sponsors, yeah, of course, a shout out to Applied Pressure. They're the brand. They're a local brand in Everett here. They sponsor a bunch of the Everett teams. They do a bunch of streetwear. All their stuff is really, really cool. High quality material. Great people. Also, shout out. You mentioned smoothies. There's another local smoothie bar called Alive Juice Bar. Man, I'm actually going to be starting up a podcast in his place. Long story short, this guy is something else. He runs his own smoothie bar, and I'll just say this: he's just the most out of pocket man you'll ever talk to. He has like a bunch of like communist writings on the walls. Like it's actually crazy. He's got a book right now out. I actually have it right here. It's called Good Fucking Manners. This guy is so interesting, man, but he's very, very smart. I'll just put it that way. It's a really good book. His name's Andrew Ho. He owns a live juice bar. Fire smoothies, fire meal preps. Yeah, that's about it for sponsors, man. Shout out to Charlie's Combat Club, of course. Charlie Pearson, Chris Vassell, Miranda Granger, Javier Miramontes. And yeah, man, just blessed. I'm surrounded by everything I need here, man.
February 9th, Philly.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, I mean, everyone else been talking to, it's been talking about how cold it is. You're in the Pacific Northwest. I don't got to tell you about cold.
Yeah.
February 9th, Philly, you're going to be on Fight Pass again. I don't think you haven't been on OnlyFans at all. You've been main card both fights so far.
Yes, sir.
So that people can either tune in on Fight Pass, come out to the 2300 Arena, get you in person, CFFC.tv, pick your name from the drop down. You get your little kickback. I know the out-of-towners tend to have a little harder time selling because you're not local. People at least should know your name at least from previous ones. And get this posted and everyone tune in February 9th. Thanks for your time.
Sir. Appreciate you, brother.